Hi there, it's Trinette, your wellness coach. I was having a chat to a friend just recently, and she'd started a new job. And this particular job was a bit of a step up in her career. And she was saying just how much she felt like a imposter in the role. And no, I know that there's a lot of other people that feel like that they are that when they're starting a new job or getting promoted to a new role in a company, or even when they're starting off in a new role at home as a mum. And I remember I felt like that when I was had my very first child. I'm thinking, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing, and why am I even here? And I'm a fraud. I'm pretending to do all this stuff that I think I know what I'm doing, but I actually don't, and I have no idea what I'm actually doing. So it is a very common issue, and you end up with a never-ending audio track of self-doubt playing in your head, and it's looping around, making sure that everything's perfect and that telling everybody else that you're fine. And it's really sabotaging your own thoughts because you feel like you have to be absolutely perfect all the time. Yet secretly, you're waiting for a tap on the shoulder and to be escorted from the building or your house for impersonating a functional human, when in fact you're trying your best, but you're not really getting the results that you want. And this can lead to living with anxiety and quietly freaking out at your ability to function in the role that you've been playing. Now, it's not a diagnosable condition, but it is acknowledged as a psychological pattern of behaviour. So it is something that does actually happen with people when they normally are starting off new in a particular role. If you recognise it in yourself, then just rest assured that you're not alone. There was a clinical psychologist who wrote a book called Change Your Thinking and No Worries. And she said that the imposter syndrome can be particularly acute in the early stages of the career. And she's actually said in any job, particularly in a job where your performance is seen by others, where your work is public, it's very, very common. And also when working in cultures where there are high level of expectations, for instance, in legal firms, where the stakes are really high and mistakes can be really costly. So that there's a huge amount of pressure to perform and people are more likely to feel inadequate. So being a perfectionist can increase the levels of anxiety. If you're a high achiever as a child, then teachers and parents expect you to keep performing, and this makes you feel even more compelled to keep living up to those expectations. So the higher your standards, the more likely you are to underperform in your own mind because you've set that bar really high. And then you'll have feelings of that you're not good enough. So in severe cases, when the effects of imposter syndrome sort of snowball, your performance at work may also fall so low than what your worst fears say that they might, because you might be hesitating on things or avoiding or constantly apologising due to results. And this can sabotage you. So it may be that you're afraid of judgment from authority people within your business, or it could be physical reactions to stress. And that could be things like shaking, or you might be startled, or have those startled reactions where you jump. You could have a dry mouth or insomnia. So look for these particular signs and note those triggers, because you can identify whether or not there's areas where you could be able to learn from those particular behaviours and change them. You may also overcompensate in self-harming, and that could be by setting poor boundaries, or it could be taking on more work than you should and staying late. And this will actually create a bit of tension between your work-life balance, and it will add to your stress. So imposter syndrome places limits on your potential and your ability to live your life enjoyably with satisfaction and to the fullest. So there's 3 things that I would recommend that you do. Tip number 1 is to reach out, tell a trusted colleague or a friend or a family member how you're feeling, and recognise that it's actually a normal feeling, and most people have gone through it at some stage. Have open and honest conversations about how you feel as well. Tip 2, have realistic expectations. Don't set the bar up too high. You don't have to do everything perfectly. Focus on learning and growing and learning from your mistakes. And last of all, tip number 3, acknowledge your successes. So keep a record of all your small wins. Don't focus on your failures. We're very self-critical when imposter syndrome sets in. So drop that mask and admit that despite your mind chatter telling us that we aren't good enough, take the time to believe that we just are enough and embrace that fearlessness. So if thinking we aren't good enough means we should be focusing on what we can or we can't do, and you feel like you continually can't, I encourage you to jump onto our productivity challenge. It's a 10-day productivity challenge, which will help you to be able to set some really good tasks for a day. And once you finish those tasks, it will help you to improve productivity, but also give you a sense of reward that you have been able to improve on what you're doing within your work. Now, you can join that productivity challenge through the details in my link tree in my About Us or my profile, and you'll see that that's a free little productivity challenge that you can do. So join up. If you haven't already, join my Facebook page at Trinette Wellness Coach, or my Instagram page, Trinette_wellness_coach. And you can hit me up on my email as well if you'd like to direct message me as well. Transform@trinettejeski.com. All right, until next time, I'll catch you soon. See ya.